Okay, here we go. I am the programmer and designer of Gratuitous Space Battles 2, and this is the first video, hopefully of many, of me showing you stuff that's in the game. I'm capturing this at sort of 2560 res, which is pretty big, and then like halving it down so my feeble internet can upload it. This is not the beta or even alpha, it's an early build of the game, but it'll sort of show you what it looks like. And with this video I'm going to just show you the battle effects. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about, but this is kind of how the battle effects look at this particular point. So here we go. I've got a fleet all set up. We'll worry about all this stuff another time. Hopefully pretty quick load, because I've spent a lot of time on that. Right, here we go. One of the things I should point out, these aren't the ships that you would use. I'll talk about this another time, but yeah, they're sort of ridiculously colourful, which is kind of how I like them. But if you don't like this style of spaceship, really don't worry about it. And also the fleets are completely intermixed and all kinds of stuff all stuck together, so don't worry about that either. That's all going to be different. Okay, so the first thing you kind of might notice is that it is a lot more 3D. It's not actually 3D, but it's done in a kind of sort of faked 3D engine. I'll just pause the battle for a little second to show you what I'm talking about. If you played GSP1, there was just one mission in the Order expansion that had an asteroid belt with loads of parallax. There's kind of like crazy parallax in this, including the ships. So you can see here this purple ship and that blue ship, they're not on the same level. So you'll see ships flying under others and in between asteroids and all kinds of stuff like that. This has no gameplay effect whatsoever. The actual game simulation is all taking place in 2D. It's just done for kind of like graphical fun and giggles, basically, and I think it makes things look a lot better, a lot more kind of immersive. And to sort of point out that it's not just layers of parallax, it is kind of being done with a sort of 3D lighting. If I turn down that level of lighting, I can kind of spin the light around to show you what I mean. So rather than the fixed lighting that you had on ships in GSP1, this has a sort of like bump map stuff. So the ships actually have some depth to them, and the asteroids and everything in there. And one of the kind of other features of this is that there are kind of like proper lights, which we haven't had before either. So I can turn down the sort of background lights and play like that. I can turn down foreground lights and we can have battles that are like this. It's kind of cool. If I turn off the GUI, I quite like that sort of an effect. Play about with the lights. So that's very different. That's a complete change. It takes a while to sort of get things looking as I want them. The other thing is I also have bloom, so you can see everything is a little bit glowy and a little bit sort of overexposed. But we can turn that off. So we can have everything look like this, or crazy like this, or you know, like that, however you want. And I think that makes quite a big difference. Just try and get things vaguely back to how they were. I think that's about how it was, wasn't it? One of the things that's in the game that people will either love or hate, but they'll be on a slider, is these sort of lens flare, what they call anamorphic lens flares, or J.J. Abrams Star Trek lens flares, which one stuff. I love them, and I will turn them up more than that for me. They're incredibly difficult to do because they depend on the object not being obscured, which involves all kinds of nonsense. And also the sun. There is a sun somewhere. There it is there. So if we obscure the sun, then they kind of cut out and then they'll come back again. I quite like that. One of the other things that's going on is we have proper lighting on pretty much any object. If I freeze, Oh, and it suddenly gets very quiet. If I freeze and you look at the lights there, you can see over here that these sort of purple beams actually light up the asteroids behind them. And they'll also light up, as you can probably see, the ship that they're on top of and any ships that they fly over. And that's the same with anything. Any kind of missile or anything that's got a light source will be having that kind of an effect. Keep forgetting what my own hotkeys are. Let's put the GUI back. And go back. And I quite like that, especially if you've got like a dark backdrop and, you know, loads of bullets flying about, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to the depth, even like the smoke and the debris is kind of in 3D, so it all sort of moves out towards the camera, and then again, you need to have a ship blow itself to bits. I'm not sure, a bit early on that there, but kind of that is actually in 3D. It's quite hard to tell that particular one, but when you get ships flying through a cloud of smoke and flames, it's kind of cool because you can see that they're really in there. You know, it's not just a sprite stuck on top of another sprite, which is good. One of the other things is that the damage effects are kind of procedural. They're not all the same like they were in GSB 1, where if a ship got hit, you had exactly the same visual effects on it, regardless, you know, how many of those ships got hit. It's more kind of like calculated at one time. What else do we have? We have a completely new user interface, as you might have noticed. If I click a ship, I can click an individual weapon and look at its, you know, its firing arc. Firing arcs are new, and also where it's going and who it's shooting at and stuff like that. And obviously, this window here is a new kind of a, you know, a new take on the old thing. There, new indicators. One of the other things I like is this stuff over here, which is a good way to like click through to your ships. But that used to be just a list that went straight up and down. Now, if you have a really high screen res, it will just pad it out, and the game supports multiple monitors and ridiculous screen resolutions. So if you're thinking, oh, that's a big chunk of the screen wasted, it's only because it's like 2560 res. We can hide it anyway. You can turn the whole user interface on and off if you like. I think that's pretty much it for now. Also, some of this is multi-threaded. A lot of the transformation of debris and the asteroids and stuff like that, a lot of that is running in multiple threads, which makes a change and allows this to kind of run at sort of fixed 60 frames a second at 5120 res on not a particularly amazing PC. So it's kind of good fun. I hope you like the look of it. It will look better. I've got tons of ideas, but this is what it looks like at the moment. You kind of have to see it over multiple monitors to really get the full gratuitous ridiculousness of it. Oh dear. I haven't done all of the Hulk stuff, so some of the ship destruction isn't as good as it should be. But that's coming. Anyway, this is Gratuitous Space Battles 2. If you like the look of it, then subscribe to these videos on YouTube or sign up to a mailing list. I blog at cliffski.com, and the website, you'll be able to find it eventually from positech.co.uk, but it is of course www.gratuitousSpaceBattles2.com. So, thanks for watching.